Today, I'm gonna be diving into forgotten tools from our childhood, spanning all the way back to the 1980s. Yes, I said it. Now, for most of us, our youth were filled with helping our fathers, and a lot of the tools they were using at the time, at least in my experience, were purchased at none other than the most glorious tool store to ever exist, Sears. And in this video, we're gonna open those suckers up and see if they're still worth their merit and maybe even test them against their modern day equivalents. So throw on your starter jacket, grab yourself a Pepsi Clear, and let's dive into some tools that were forgotten from our past. All right, so like I said, we've grabbed the new era Craftsman tools and we've got a bunch of old school guys. And I just gotta say the packaging here, can't imagine why the hell this brand went under. I'm gonna start with this indiscriminate tan box here that just showed up, and we're gonna see what's inside. I know what's inside, it's a drill. Joe here has been hunting for the better part of 2 months to find us a good allotment of these tools. And a lot of them show up like this.
What the hell is even that?
So for those of you that are here on a nostalgia kick with me, this is exactly what both of my grandfathers and my dad's tools looked like back in the day. This thing's been haunting my dreams for all 36 years of my life.
You're old.
But everything was just tossed in little plastic bins and doodads like this. We've got some masonry bits. Like, at some point, someone thought this, with individual holders inside, was the ticket of organization. All of my grandfather's bits and my dad's bits were like this growing up. You couldn't find anything. There we go. Obviously, oh no, we even got it. It's over here. Let's go. Almost a full set pull. I don't know when this tool's from, so let's check out some of the packaging. 13-piece drill. So we got the mother load here, Joe. What'd you pay for this on eBay?
I don't even know.
We'll pop it up here on screen because Joe and I played football, a lot of hits to the head.
Captain Insano shows no mercy.
Now check this out. Look at this fine piece of literature here. You can see everything that came in that indiscriminate box. And I do believe the date on the back here is 8/72. There's no way. There's no way this is from 72.
It's at least 74.
It just smells like mildew. Look at this. Look at this. That power adapter safety. These are fantastic. 972M. What does that mean? Is that this is a bunch of tools. Hold up. I love this part. You see this? Where you're supposed to tighten it by hitting it with a mallet? That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Sam, could you do me the solid while I try to find a date on this sucker and tell me what this thing retailed for back in the day?
Surprisingly, it was still kind of expensive for back in the day. I found the ad for this exact drill, $29.99.
And here we actually found the actual 3/8 electric drill. I don't know what this stuff is. Very interesting. So this was your maintenance catalog. It's got all your parts, which is pretty awesome to see. Sears and Roebuck, Chicago, Illinois. Model number 315104990. Double insulated reversible variable speed 3/8 inch electric drill. No ground. Without any further ado, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, baby. That's reverse. That's forward.
You can smell that from here.
Oh, those brushes, baby. Those brushes, they will keep you coming back for more. The chuck, see if she actually opens. This is one of the major downsides to these old school tools. You have to carry this chuck key with you. I remember distinctly like getting borderline backhanded because if you lost the chuck that was on the plug, were you in for it?
You have failed and you will pay.
We've got to try this with one of the drill bits that came with it. So we'll go with this 3/16 inch bit. It says it's variable speed and reversible. So speed-wise, where's the variability? The trigger depression dictates how fast. It also locks. If you want to mix mud or something, I guess. The 80s, phenomenal era that Sam and Joe just never got to experience. Can't she plow a hole? Do you think she still plows? Does she still plow?
Okay, bud, let's take about 20% off her over there, eh?
It ain't easy. Let's not blame the drill though. Let's see if it's the bit. Thankfully it came with 2 chucks. Definitely got some wear and tear over the years. Let's just jump to a bigger guy, huh? 7/16. Now, did we get a bit set? I think we also bought a bit set, huh, Joe? Joe found a vintage bit set. Oh, slipped in the chuck. Not a problem. Just come back with my key, give it a more tight fit. Still gets the job done. Not the best. She doesn't smell the best. She has 0 balls.
No balls!
We've got a plug-in drill from Craftsman that we just tested for you guys that we're gonna run side by side because it's one of those things, it's like if you got this for free, maybe you'll use it once or twice. That I'm pretty sure the brand new one's like $30.
The price is wrong.
$60, I lied. It's awful. Is it better than this? So side by side, size-wise, come on, Craftsman, you haven't done shit. This thing's the same freaking length as that, which is unbelievable. They've definitely got a more powerful motor. It's chuckless, or keyless chuck. The chuck's a lot bigger. The drill, it's definitely the drill. Like this thing is super underpowered and old.
You're terrifically old.
We have the sanding and buffing attachment that goes along with it. I think that's how it works. I mean, without reading a single direction. Actually, Sam, we don't build heirloom furniture, and if you look in our comments section, people are very upset about it. Here we go. Oh, I must have done something wrong in my assembly process because it's just spinning. Boy, does this one bring back all the memories. Look at that flathead, by the way. We do have a bunch of hand tools from Craftsman that a lot of us, I can guarantee, had. All right. Just about as well as you'd expect there. What a fine machine. If the test is old school versus new school, I don't think there's a world where this tool can stand up to anything in the new school era. Glad to see it. I wish this one had the little dial on the front. You know what I'm talking about. Leave a comment if you know what I'm talking about. We're gonna put her back in her non-descriptive box, send her on down the old dusty trail. But good to see out the gate. A tool that I promise you is in the next garage sale you go to. And speaking of next, what do we got, Paula? What do we have here? An indiscriminate box that says Sears on it. What could be inside? Probably every tool you ever need. Whoa! This is like your regular good old-fashioned household socket wrench utility set here. 7 standard sockets in 3/8 it looks like. We've got 8 1/4-inch sockets ranging from 1/2 inch up to 3/16. 1 socket. Oh, this isn't a Craftsman. Look at that. We got hose.
Gotcha, bitch!
If you look at that socket, that doesn't say Craftsman. I wonder if this is not Craftsman, if this is just Sears brand, because these are also all made in China. So this was the demise of Sears. Whatever this age of this is.
This is why they went out of business.
Scamming people before the internet existed. Damn it, Sears! To give them credit, they probably sold product that was not Craftsman, and that's probably what this is. This thing couldn't have been more than like $8. Damn it, am I disappointed. You got a pair of channel locks, super cheap, dog shit, screwdriver. This doesn't even fit on it. No idea what that is. Looks like these fit onto these Allen keys that are still stapled. So those are brand new, unused, and it looks like you could fit an Allen key in there if you'd want to. So it's specifically for using these bits on here before a little bit more intentional. But also made in China. Golly, if this was made in China in the 80s, this probably cost like 8 cents to make. We got a year yet, Sam.
I can't find that exact one, but one similar is coming in at $15.67.
For comparison, this thing's got what? 47 tools for $15. It was probably what the claim was on this. And these are all trash. They're garbage tools. I hate the blow molded case. I hate this. This is a disgrace. This brings me no joy. Do we have anything over there that could bring me joy? Here we go. Now we're talking. This is the stuff that gets your loins going. This is what I'm saying. Only thing you need is a screwdriver to open it. This is the kind of Sears shit that they made their headway on. Now, I'm not an aficionado, nor am I a historian, but this is what we're looking for. But these aren't even Sears. These are Companion. What the f is a Companion?
I don't know, man.
We got the Sears logo here. These are forged in the US though. A huge point of pride, 1973. Jesus, Joseph and Mary. That was a big deal for Craftsman. The brand itself, they had a lifetime warranty on hand tools. You could take them back at any time and they'd replace them. They still honor it, right, Sam?
The last time I was in a functional Sears was a few years ago, but the options they gave me is you could either get a refurbished Taiwanese wrench, or I'm sorry, a new Taiwanese wrench or a refurbished American one.
And Sears does or does not exist anymore?
I found their online store still open. Like,
Yeah?
you can go buy stuff off Sears.com.
They're Wayfair. Wayfair is just Sears rebranded because the Sears brand is so tarnished. They just had a whole new.
Really?
Yeah, Wayfair is Sears.
Pure fiction.
Do we have any Craftsman hand tools?
When I saw this, I feel like every garage has this exact box beat up, missing most of its components. I'll let you do that.
And I will agree. I will agree. My dad had a red Craftsman toolbox. My father-in-law has multiple, and I'm pretty sure my grandfather has multiple as well. And all of them are just filled with things that look like this that you have no idea what they are unless you bought them and you remember. Because God forbid they wrote anything to tell you what's in it, or if it said anything indiscriminate on the outside. But here we go, Sam. Oh, exactly what I was expecting. That's a wooden holder. That gotta be custom made. There's no way it came with that. Please be Craftsman.
It's just Sears. That's just Sears stuff. That's a Sears toolkit.
No. I want you to see something. Read that, Sam.
Decent amount of teeth. And to be honest, Taiwanese tools, they're much better than Chinese.
Fact.
I told Joe this is nice. These older ones, you can throw a pipe on it. You need to get a little
You
more
could.
leverage.
So they made them back in the day. Let's get the modern one out. I am thoroughly disgusted. When we went hunting for Sears Craftsman vintage, as some might say, even though we are in our 30s and not that vintage, the expectation was a lot of the Craftsman tools, and they're probably still being used. That's probably why we didn't get as many as we wanted. But here we go. We've got a 3/8 inch ratchet. The old school guy has your classic, don't know what direction it's going in, twist back. I don't know what this is actually called. I like this, you got this knurled handle here, which is awesome. This thing's got some heft to it. Yeah, pretty close. I don't know how many gears it has, but let's see what the clicks sound like. Heavy click. But there is a decent space between them. A little bit of play, as to be expected. The new guy, a lot more clicks. Bring it in. A lot more clicks. That's a huge difference in an old school ratchet to a new school one, is they added a lot more gearing inside, so you don't need to turn it as far. And if you go look at like a scientific channel, unlike ours,
Science.
they're gonna show you like how much sway is between it as you put your socket on and how much space you need to move in order to do so. Some companies these days are trying to do stuff where you can literally just like, you don't have to move it at all and you can ratchet the whole thing, the whole area. It's nuts. So the newer one seems like a lot more gears. The head on it is a lot bigger though. I mean, I like the look of the older one. I like this feel too. It's got some balls to it. Sam made the point, you could throw a pipe on this to give yourself some leverage. They were designed to be able to do that. So Sam found the price. This sucker retailed back in the early 80s for
$28.20 according to ChatGPT. The data on this is so limited.
Isn't ChatGPT your arch nemesis?
It is, but you gotta sometimes,
Hypocrisy, my friend.
And then this brand new Craftsman set that they sell at Lowe's retails for 25 bucks. So it's actually cheaper now and made cheaper. But these are like the cheap Sears stuff. This isn't the Craftsman stuff. So I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I don't even know what to say.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
The nostalgia is, I'm kind of losing it because I was expecting to see some Craftsman on here. I had no idea that Sears sold anything, but if I was to reflect and guess what would be in a toolbox if I was going to a garage scale, it would be this. It would be a bunch of this shit. This one has all of them, probably because they were selling it. This one also has this like little custom thing in here, but it would be missing shit. Ooh, look at that, Sam. You could pull her out. You've got some dust and some dirt. They now make these so you could use the handle regardless. And I guess this was like for tight spaces. But someone made a custom. All right, I'm gonna clean this up, get on to the next tool. All right, now into some real nostalgia here. If you grew up around tools, you've seen these. It's literally a red Craftsman toolbox. I bet you there's nothing in it. Exactly as I'd expect. Couldn't even supply us with the shelf, you swindling eBay selling bastards. You're so mean! All we wanted to do was shine a bright light on a quality traditional old school brand, and you're making it look like shit, people. These used to retail between 5 and 20 bucks. I think like every single person in the trades, anyone that had a tool in their garage, they're still everywhere. As I said, garage sales, actually pause this video, open a second browser, go on Facebook Marketplace, type in Toolbox, and I guarantee one of these pops up. If they don't, leave a comment down below. But this was like, you threw all your shit in here, it had zero, it had just, all it had was that shelf that you could pull out. Nowadays, this is what you get. This is a plastic box, this costs 23 bucks. You got a little organization on the top, which is decently well thought out. It doesn't smell as bad as this, nor does it sound good as a drum. You know, you're getting a lot more reverberation out of that sucker. Here's your little toolbox thing. This one has a weird smell, and that's it. Just something to throw your shit in. I think the golden era, Sam, do you agree? The golden era of toolboxes was when they were used like this.
I've never personally, I gotta be honest, I've never been a fan of like the metal toolbox.
Not a fan of it at all.
Oh,
but I feel like compared to this,
I would take it over that.
What the f are you doing with this? Before we get into dramatic torture testing, the guys valiantly stopped me and they were like, listen, John, how would these have traditionally been used? And I was like, well, these were built and used a lot to just like house everything. So you'd take them and while on jobs, you'd want to make sure all the stuff that you had kind of just like could survive in there. So we're gonna test that. First with a chain. I have no idea what this weighs, but it's not light. Let's see if both boxes can withstand it. I've got a guess.
Should they subscribe before you do it?
No, don't subscribe. Don't take a poop right now. Don't do don't eat popcorn. Don't do whatever you're doing. Don't love us enough to subscribe. Please subscribe. Okay, can this toolbox withstand the chain? My guess, Sam, of course it can. That plastic's got no chance. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Exactly what you'd expect. And Joe made a good point. He's like, essentially you'd be standing near enough to just throw your stuff in it. Chucking shit in the box is 3/4 of the battle. So, you know, just like the Chinesium. What else do we got? Exactly how it would be used. Then she would be finely closed up. That's why this latch is broke. There you go. Let's go drink some beers. And then it would just be chucked in the back of a truck. Now, can the modern day equivalent hold up? Let's see. Now, if you weren't bringing a 15-foot length of chain on the job site, you weren't working hard enough back in the day. So, there we go. Hammer, obviously. Some wrenches, huge bolts for no reason. Get in here. Grabber. Let's go drink some seltzers. That's what they'd be saying nowadays, right? And then you throw it in your truck bed. There we go. Not gonna lie, 100, completely surprised that survived any of that. What the f?
We haven't even done anything bad to it.
What kind of plastic is that? You gotta give it the old boot there. I guess there's only one test left. Bring her on in. Have we named the forklift yet? Was there any good names? I kind of wish someone would name it like Bruce Wayne so we could bring it in looking like the Tumbler Batmobile, the greatest Batmobile ever.
Does it come in black?
So you get to the job site, dump all your shit out. I should explain to the good people of the internet, Sam can drive anything with 4 wheels. His confidence level on a forklift is probably a 1 out of 10. Take me on up, son. Don't try this one at home. And if you do, don't videotape it and put it on the internet. And if you do that, tag me. We're probably at roughly 15 feet right here. Stop. Do you think either one's surviving? Up first, the traditional toolbox. Count me down, Paula. 5, 4. Too late. Perfect. Plastic new era. I don't know what to say. Bring me down. I'm thoroughly surprised. I feel like at least one of those should have broke. The fact there's no weight in them might make a difference, but old school toolbox from Craftsman, Sears, you could walk in that store lined with toolboxes, whether they were the handheld ones or they were like the drawered ones you put in your house. That's where a lot of my heart and soul lies when it comes to Sears and Craftsman that I wish still existed, because let's be honest, toolboxes are f***ing awesome. And if you disagree, you haven't lived a quality life. And speaking of quality, let's test this piece of shit next. The blow molded cases for tools in the 90s are like Apple product boxes for millennials. You never got rid of them. For whatever reason, it was impossible to part with a blow molded case. I remember seeing these everywhere. The best part about it is that it says tool case, doesn't say the tool. And so this tool case specifically is holding this beaut, which is a 7 1/4 circular saw made by our good friends at Sears Craftsman. Now, my grandfather specifically had one of these back in the day. He had a garage. It was actually featured in the film The Next 3 Days. So if you ever seen that movie with Russell Crowe, his garage, it's in there. The dude from The Next 3 Days goes to get a gun out of the garage, and it's actually my grandparents' garage because they filmed that in Pittsburgh. There's a little tit for tat for you guys. But this thing was filled to the gills with tools, and it was 7 foot tall. Max. I distinctly remember my grandfather having at least one, maybe multiples of. Now, circular saws themselves have not really changed. This is a Sidewinder, kind of the same look and feel. They've gotten more efficient, but overall, they're still basically built the same. You ready, Joe? I'm ready. You ready, Sam? Start your engine! Woo! Let's go! Golly, that thing's loud. First and foremost, no brake. Secondly, I need a nap. That was so loud. It hurt my core. Yeah, 2.5 horsepower. This thing's got 5,000 RPMs. This one's probably from the mid-90s. Was made in the USA. This is America! It was $41 was the retail price on it. You've got a lot of the same features you still see now. You've got the locking plate. It's got a bevel with a nice knob on the front here. This little knob here fell out, but this is for your edge guide, which may or may not be in the tool case. She sure is, baby. Look at this thing.
Just look at that.
This is what I'm talking about. This is why homes were built so precisely back in the day. You had tools like this. It also comes with the blade key, which does go right here, that for some reason they didn't have on. We paid $95 for this hunk of garbage because we like to get when we buy tools for videos. You've got metal on most of the parts, which is something that you don't see a lot these days. Cam lock on the back here. It's pretty long. It's got multiple threaded screws to hold it in place. It was made in the US, sold by Sears Roebuck, made in the USA. Gotta love that. Don't see that anywhere these days. I guess the only thing we got left to do here is compare to what they sell now. A brand new one to compare side by side. This one was like 80 bucks. Looks completely different. Not only is it red, but it's a lot more compact. See how big this sucker was, left to right? Motors have gotten smaller. The saw itself, a lot of plastic. This metal is not the same as whatever the hell's here, but I will say the housing on it does feel like very comparable and similar. The tab, this is your cam lock on the back for your depth. It actually feels smoother on the old one, weirdly. That's ironic. You've got a big old button here for locking, rafter hook, which is super common on tools nowadays. Big old knob here up front for your bevel with some positive stops. You don't have that on this. This is just this little knob. Knobby doodad here on this guy. No positive stops there. It comes with the same edge guide that kind of locks in over here. You can see that's still in the box. And this is a plug-in model, just like that, with no ground, just like that. And let's see if it's as loud or louder. Samuel, the king of technology, has got a decibel reader here. I'm speaking right now at an 8. So sorry for all of you at home. Now, I'm gonna let it get back down to 0, and then we're gonna fire up the newer saw. Are you ready, Sam?
Ready.
Joe? People at home? Here we go. A consistent 99.
Hit 100.1 is top.
Maxed at 100.1. All right, now, Craftsman Screamer. Here we go. It got louder as it stayed on. It went from 104 up to 106 decibels. That is absurd. That's crazy though that these tools are 30 years apart though. Plus, it's only a 5 to 7 decibel difference in the noise made by the tool. Come on, tool people, we can't make this thing any quieter. Unbelievable. I'm gonna bring you a brand new segment here. Sam uses old shit. And in this segment, Sam's gonna take a tool older than him, and he is going to cut a board. All right.
I love that there's no there's no ergonomics on these old ones. It's just a little flat nub to grab onto.
Do you have your eyes and ears protected?
I have my eyes protected with these fine shop shades. ANSI 67R certified eyewear available.
Z87 Plus, golly.
Exclusively
You're the
at
worst spokesperson I've ever
johnmalecki.com. I
hired.
can't even hear anything right now. I'm gonna send it. It cuts so well, but it is just so funny after it kicks off. It's just
Humming. That's how you're losing fingers.
oh yeah, you just gotta let it sit for. That's where you get dangerous when it's just on a job site, cut after cut after cut. I'm gonna go quick and then. Oh, there's a spindle lock caution. Do not engage. Who would engage the spindle lock while they were cutting? I feel like.
That is gonna end the segment of Sam Cuts Old Shit. I don't even know what I called it. I forgot already. Next, we've got this beautiful piece of equipment, also from Sears Craftsman. It is a sander. It is a fantastic pad sander. Now, I'm pretty sure the world discontinued the pad sander. It is now referred to as a sheet sander. Now, I personally have never used this tool. I have seen it. I've never used it. We have a lovely manual here. This incredible piece. Look at, I mean, you think that they custom made that for this, or this is saved? Never been opened? Never been used? It does look unused. It smells used. This might never been used. We've got your good old fashioned dust collection bag here. And for most efficient operation, empty the bag when half full. Don't let that thing get fully full. It goes on like this. You take these drawstrings. This thing stinks. This tool smells. You tighten them here, tie them around, and then you can come back. There should be a loop somewhere, or they wanted you to put it inside. Yeah, they do want you to put it inside. It should just slide on there, and then this goes up, and it holds the bag up. Come on, there you go. That's broken. Then you slide this over. The old chunk of metal there holds her up beautifully, so then you know when it's half full. You just tie the bag on. A little bow tie there for you, right? So this old girl retailed back in the year of our Lord, 1990, $28. I actually have no idea if it was from 1990. Let's see if it says anything in here. If you don't want to listen to me, listen to this ad, get yourself some shop shades. Obviously. It does, it says buy some shop shades. See, right there.
Holy shit.
Unbelievable, right? Don't take my word for it. Take a vintage catalog for a sanding pad machine from the 1990s. Jokes aside, I don't know what I'm doing with this thing.
We don't know what we're doing.
This tool here is for prying the top and the bottom back open. You've got a few settings, but essentially, you gotta make your own sandpaper here. Now this was revolutionary. Sanding before this, you were using little boys.
Stop saying shit like that.
They were taking hours with their tiny hands to sand all little cracks and crevices. Back in the day, they used to sand tables with their bare hands. That's when real work was done. Or they used card scrapers and other things. Now, I've never enjoyed or liked using a sander like this, with a plate, because it's pretty much the same setup now. You tuck your paper around and you get it underneath these little latches and hooks here, okay? And then they squeeze down and bada bing, there you go. You now have the ability to use motorized power for sanding. This does claim to have dual motion and orbital mode, and then this cover here pops off. Look at that, straight line stroke or your random orbit. We're going straight for random orbit because we don't mess around here.
We work hard, we play hard.
Filthy piece of hard maple. Maybe you could clean her up.
They have a nice protection. The switch is like buried in there. And there you go. Feels real good in the hand. Doing a phenomenal job of removing. Did that do anything?
That cleaned it up a little bit.
Did it? I'd like to know if your dad actually used these suckers to ever build with. It smells so bad. How much was it?
Retail, it was like $28 back.
$28, hell of a deal. Do we have one from today?
It's not, I think it's gonna be worse, to be honest with you.
Looks worse.
Pad sand, I get the look at the size of that dust port.
That's what a sander should sound like, just for. 50 bucks. I will say this, the sanding, this is one tool I think has evolved a shit ton. Like I said, I personally am not a huge fan of these. This thing is huge, and I'd love to know if anyone still uses anything similar, because it's not a belt sander, it just vibrates. Like an old school belt sander is completely different, but I feel like these pad sanders, they were just the predecessor to like the random orbit sander. I don't know how this would ever collect any dust at all. It says empty the bag that you tie on there nicely when it's halfway full sand. Just another high quality vintage tool from our childhood that I'm glad to put back onto the shelf. Now, I think we got one or two more power tools, but there's a couple other things over there, Sam.
This one, John, this thing is so dense, so durable.
Is it durable?
Oh, you can use it as a weapon, it's so durable.
What we have here is a 3/4 inch, 20-foot Sears 3911-2, and the labeling on it was upside down. The clip on it was not. This thing is like this is like a steel case, which I feel like you don't see much these days. The button for locking is an actual locking button, which is cool.
Made in the USA, you see that, John? There you go.
But made in the US, yeah, just crystal clear there. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see, baby. This thing is compact. We are looking at 11.6 ounces. That's 3/4 of a pound. That's as much as the cheeseburger you're eating right now. For comparison, this is a 26-foot Stanley, 13.8 ounces. So it's got 6 feet more metal in there, and it's like, look how much bigger it is here. And it's only a 2-ounce difference, which is pretty wild. Craftsman now makes these, which is a 16-footer, and this one weighs 10.9 ounces and is still bigger. All in all, I will say, badass. The button on the side, really cool. I like the nostalgia of this sucker. Ergonomically, it sucks. Like, I'm just being completely honest. Like, when you get used to a tape with like modern efficiencies, like the thumb tab, or you can put your finger on the bottom. This, you can put your finger on the bottom. It pinches it here though, and then on top of it, the button's really not there. But things have evolved. Do we have any idea what this cost or when it came from? $7.99 back in the day. What day was that? Late 80s, we'll say. So this thing's probably as old as me.
Back when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Now, what they measure a good tape on nowadays is how, like the feel of the hand, the button, the lock, blah, 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 blah. But what they care the most about is standout. Let's take some guesses on the standout here. What are you boys thinking? I've only got 50s and 20s, sorry guys.
They call it the rich man's disease.
I will wager this Jersey Mike's gift card.
Ooh, do you got a gift card, Joe?
I got this right here, this Home Depot gift card I'll wager.
I'll wager this pair of scissors. Closest without going over, okay?
Poor drops, I'm gonna say 30 inches.
I'll say 20 inches.
You two are idiots. It's gonna be like at least 5 feet.
Are you out of your mind?
All right, so just so you know, for standout, 5 feet is right here. It's when it breaks. So you just go slow. Right now we're at 8.5, 9, 10. It broke at like 122 inches, 10 foot 2 inches. So your guess, are you gonna keep what you had?
I'm gonna go up, but not by much. That thing's skinny. I'll say 60 inches.
60, what are you saying?
I'd say 40.
40? Okay. And then you took 60, so I'll say 59. Here we go. That is 20. Dun dun. 30. 40.
Let it hang. Hold on.
43.
Come on.
46.
Easy. Come on.
49.
Oh, wait, I'm at 60. Oh, God.
What'd Joe say?
Said 40.
51.
Come on.
53.
Easy. Gentle.
55. 57.
We got it.
Oh! Joe wins actually though, because we both went over. So Joe, you get to go to Jersey Mike's and get yourself a sandwich, and then you can use this to cut the sleeves off your next shirt.
From where?
I don't know, maybe the JohnMaleckiStore.com, I don't know. This is awesome. I love seeing stuff like this. Probably gonna keep this, let's put it right here so the people can remember. Got anything else good for me, Sam?
Still, it's not Craftsman, but it's the Sears 1/4 inch hex set. Back in, I believe it was the mid late 80s, you were required by law to keep one of these on your person in case anything went wrong.
That and a pack of Marlboro Reds.
There should be one in here. Is it? They must have smoked it already.
The 80s is when cigarettes were good for you.
It's a joke.
Yeah, I think this is like an early era mini combo kit like this, right? So I just want to meet the asshole that invented these like little plastic like carriers, because these things were everywhere. This is a Sears Roebuck product made in the US. It's got 5 sockets, a 1/4 inch, 5/16, 11 32nds, 3/8 and 7/16 with 2 square sockets. What do you use a square socket for? It's called a spinner handle. This is a spinner handle and an L handle and a handy tray for sockets. What is a square for?
Maybe making it bigger. I know there's some things like old oil caps like on lawnmowers and stuff. It's a
Square. Yeah, you're right. But this would have been super handy. I have no idea what it cost. They also came with an Allen key that you could use these on. So this is pretty unique. It's got like the depression here that you would see on a socket, the little nib. So you could slide a socket onto it and use it as well. So all in all, like an early ass, something like this, or something with a little screwdriver in it. The spinny handle is very interesting. They were anticipating a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You wanna lick it?
fond a little bit.
Yeah, touch it. You wanna give it a touch, Joe? Between $2 and $10. $2, I'm buying that all day long. Now, $2 in the 80s went a long way. I'm pretty sure you could like go to Vegas, black out, stay overnight, and come home for $2 in the 80s.
What a time to be alive.
It said adjusted for inflation, it would be the equivalent of $15 to $50.
Jesus, Joseph and Mary. We've had some high quality stuff here, but nothing as quality as what we've got next. This is potentially the first ever iteration of a cordless tool to ever exist on the planet Earth. It is the Cordless Jigsaw by Craftsman. The battery is hidden inside, and the charging is done by magic.
Magic.
We've magically also charged it. And she purrs, baby. Does she purr? A modern day equivalent is gonna run you 90 bones. We have one. Do we have any idea what this thing cost? For $40 in the 80s.
Limited documentation, but somewhere it was released in the 70s and 80s.
This could be the first documented proof of aliens.
Basically space aliens.
Just saying. Before the pyramids, they used magic to charge these things. Now, the cordless one, I've personally never seen, but when we found it online, we had to have it. You can see the original price on this sucker, $66 down to $35. So, hilarious. Those photos are fantastic.
Is that a reindeer in the background? Cutting something vertically in your roof?
My favorite part, did you see on the front, they advertise it like it's a benefit that says the battery charges in only 4 hours.
Full charge in a mere 4 hours. And if you run out of a charge while using it, you just get to stop the project and get shit-faced. You don't have to finish. Gotta love it. So these are, this is where the true nostalgia kind of comes in for me. Sears and Craftsman were an early first mover in the cordless power tool world, just I think because they were just such a major player. And this thing is like as bare bones as it gets. It's just all that came in the box, I think. It didn't come with instructions, it didn't come, right?
Thankfully, they sold U-shank jigsaw blades at Lowe's, but pretty much everything is like T-shank.
Can we show them? Modern jigsaws use what's called a T-shank. And this is a U-shank, so.
That's better to see on that.
So you actually have, here's your T-shank. You can see it looks like a T, looks like a U. T-shanks, I'm sure most of you watching have a jigsaw, but you can like press a lever and then you just slide it in and it locks around and holds it in, and there you go. Bob's your uncle. These you actually had to get another tool on the U-shank and loosen with a screwdriver in order to remove it and then tighten it the same exact way. A little bit of a pain in the ass, but you could see how far those have come. So it wasn't toolless, and I don't know if this came with the tool to do this, but that's how it worked. You also have the same concept, and this is for the plate, right? So if you wanted to, and this still exists on a lot of super cheap jigsaws, if you wanted to create a bevel, you had to loosen this plate down here, and that's how you would create your bevel. Now you could lock it in. It had pre-locked angles. You can see there's a tab. And I will say this thing also smells phenomenal, boys. So glad we found it. It's pretty much what's to be expected here when you're looking at these, an old school jigsaw, specifically this cordless bastard. So let's see if we can cut out something awesome. If you look at the modern day equivalent, weirdly enough, tool has gotten significantly larger. So the modern day, you've got multiple gears here. Same kind of, you've got a safety switch here. You got this safety button here. Ergonomically, this thing's Not in a good spot at all. New one sounds a lot worse. That's got a brake on it. You see that motor doesn't have a brake on it. And a lot of these older tools, you're not gonna have a brake. So that's gonna be something dangerous if you're someone who's using older tools, just to keep in mind. The plate here uses an Allen key that comes on board to do the exact same thing. You do have a toolless change for your blades though, which is nice. Besides that, this is called a D handle. This would also be considered a D handle. You have something common on jigsaws is gonna be, this lever here is gonna be the adjustment of the blade. So 2 on this is the loose throw. So you're gonna cut faster, but it's gonna be a shittier cut on the higher number. Then you can come down to 0. It'll cut slower, but it'll be a tighter. It's how much the blade itself is wiggling forward and back like this as you're cutting. Obviously, they've upgraded to having a battery you can charge and remove so you can keep working, and you don't have to stop the job to get shit-faced. But if you're looking for an excuse, this might be your girl. Lastly, we've got a guard on the front of this sucker. We do not have that here. So that dust is gonna get all in your giblets. But the real question is, which one cuts faster? Samuel.
I wish it was the old one, but I heard the two of them. It's gonna be the new one. Look at that.
She purrs though. I was gonna challenge you to a race, but you seem scared.
Oh, I'll race you, but the red one's definitely winning.
Well, let's just see how she feels. Here we go. It's so light. Excellent. Who put that blade in? Joe, what did I tell you about touching tools? Here we go again, round 2. Ready. Nice fresh blade in there. I mean, it's not the worst cut ever, but it's moving so slow you get a ton of vibration. This has way huger teeth on it. You can see. So that's a massive advantage. It's like one of the things with newer motors, there's such a higher speed that that vibration doesn't get transferred as much to the workpiece. But I gotta say, this thing, super cool. For me, super nostalgic. I had a blast going through these tools. You need to let me know down below what your favorite nostalgic tool from Craftsman and Sears was in your family's garage, because I know it was there. And then let us know what classic brand we need to hunt down vintage tools for next.